Thank you so much for joining. I welcome you on this mock interview. Can you tell me what is an App Engine Studio and why did ServiceNow introduced it?
Sure. Thank you for taking this mock interview. I am so excited. App Engine Studio is ServiceNow's low-code development environment. It is built mainly for people who want to build apps quickly, like business analysts, project managers, or junior devs, without deep technical skills. Instead of writing scripts, they can just drag and drop tables, flows, forms, and workspaces. Also, if we talk about the main reason of its introduction, then ServiceNow introduced it to solve the old problem of such as too many ideas, not enough developers. AES speeds up app development and gets more people involved in the process.
Great, thank you. Tell me how is App Engine Studio is different from traditional ServiceNow development?
Absolutely. Sure, in the classic ServiceNow development, you're expected to know glide scripting, create complex server-client logic, and handle things manually. It's developer-focused. However, in AES, you get guardrails and a visual builder, kind of like giving non-coders a safe sandbox. It's built on top of App Engine, but it simplifies the UX and focuses on reusability and governance. So instead of scripting a business rule, we're configuring a flow designer logic.
That's great. What type of apps are good fit for App Engine Studio?
Okay, yeah, sure. Let me tell you that the apps that are form-based, workflow-driven, and mainly need to collect data, trigger approvals, assign tasks, those are perfect for AES. For example, leave requests, policy approvals, asset requests, feedback tracking. But if you need real-time integrations, complex UI components, or custom logic-heavy processes, then AES might feel too limited. In such cases, you'd move to the Classic Studio or full-stack app dev.
Thank you. Nice. Can you tell me how does App Engine Studio or AES help in improving governance for citizen development?
Solid question. So, AES connects with App Engine Management Center, AEMC, which allows organizations to control app interc, approval, environment movement, and code promotion. So instead of citizen developers randomly creating things that break governance, admins can monitor every stage. AES keeps a log of who built what, who deployed what, and ensures there's proper peer review. It aligns low-code freedom with enterprise-level guardrails.
Great. I have one more question here. Can I integrate external APIs within App Engine Studio? Is it possible or not?
I would say, to a limited extent, yes, but it's not very deep. You can use Integration Hub actions like REST or SOAP connectors inside Flow Designer within AES. But if your API needs include dynamic payloads, error handling, or OAuth token rotation, you're better off building that part in the Classic Studio or using scripted REST APIs manually.
Great answer. Okay. What does the term guardrails means in AES or App Engine Studio?
Sure, guardrails in App Engine Studio basically mean built-in safety rules that prevent non-developers or even devs from doing anything that might destabilize the platform. For example, you can't create or change core system tables, or you can't inject custom glide scripts, and you can't just publish an app to production directly. AES forces you to work inside a scoped space with flow-based logic and structured approvals, which helps ensure everything stays clean, secure, and compliant.
Okay. Tell me, is App Engine Studio suitable for large enterprise applications? Or what you think about it?
Honestly, no, not for fully complex ones. AES is great for rapid prototyping and medium complexity apps. If you're working on a large-scale enterprise app with deep integrations, advanced access control, custom tables linked to external data, you'll hit limitations. That's when you switch to full-stack ServiceNow Studio, where you can write scripts, use script includes, or extend data models deeply.
Okay. From beginning, we are talking about this, and you are saying like this is for non-coders, right? So can you tell me, can developers and non-developers collaborate in AES? Is it possible?
Yes, that's actually the best part. Non-devs can design the table, layout, and workflow using drag-and-drop tools. Later, developers can jump in and enhance it, maybe by adding integration logic or performance improvements. It's like building the app in 2 layers, low code first, then power code next.
Okay. How are the app templates used in App Engine Studio?
Okay, so templates in App Engine Studio are basically reusable blueprints that help you kickstart new apps without building everything from scratch. Let's say you want a request tracking app. Instead of creating all the tables, flows, and forms manually, you just pick a pre-built template that already includes those. Templates save time and enforce consistency across your platform. They're especially helpful for new or non-technical builders. But honestly, they're
Fine. Can we manage source control or versioning in AES? Is it possible? If yes, then please explain.
Yes, source control is possible with apps created in AES, but not directly inside AES itself. When you create an app in AES, it's technically a scoped app. And once you open it in the Classic Studio, you can connect it to GitHub, Azure DevOps, or other Git-based repos using ServiceNow's source control integration. Alternatively, you can use App Repo to move app versions across environments. So yes, versioning is fully supported, but it requires switching over to Studio to get that level of control.
Great. What is the difference between AES created apps and global or scoped apps?
Yes, apps built using App Engine Studio are always scoped apps, which means they have their own namespace, isolated tables, and can't interfere with other apps unless you specifically allow it. This scoped model makes them much safer, especially in large environments. No one can accidentally mess with global tables or core platform logic. Global apps, on the other hand, have full access across the platform, which can be risky if not managed properly. That's why AES defaults to scoped apps, to enforce better protection and governance.
Okay. Can you explain the role of Flow Designer inside App Engine Studio? Have you used it anywhere?
Sure. The Flow Designer is basically the automation engine inside App Engine Studio. Instead of writing server-side scripts or business rules, you build logic visually, using triggers, conditions, and actions. For example, if you want to send an email when a form is submitted or create a task when a record is updated, that's all done in Flow Designer. However, in AES, most of the automation is handled this way. It keeps things simpler, safer, and easier for non-developers to manage without needing to write code.
Great. Now let's come to the limitations. Tell me, what are the limitations of AES that developers often complain about? You are a developer, right? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I have felt a few. So one of the biggest limitations developers often talk about with App Engine Studio is that you can't access deeper scripting tools like script includes or scripted REST APIs directly inside AES. You also can't create complex UI policies or client scripts. Debugging is another issue. There's no way to trace scripts, use breakpoints, or test custom logic in a granular way. And when it comes to performance tuning or handling edge cases, AES doesn't give you the flexibility that traditional Studio does. So while AES is fantastic for quick structured apps, it does hit a ceiling. In my experience, around 80% of business apps are just fine in AES. But that last 20%, the complex stuff, usually pushes you back into Studio.
Okay. Okay, great. Can App Engine Studio apps be published to ServiceNow Store?
No. Apps built in AES can't be published directly to the ServiceNow store. AES is designed more for internal app development, like building business workflows or tools for your own organization. If you want to publish an app to the store, you'll need to take that AES app into Classic Studio, enhance it with the necessary code, meet security and compliance guidelines, and go through the formal submission and review process. the store requires a level of control, like custom packaging, security scans, and full test coverage, which AES just doesn't support right now.
Great. Finally, the last question. What happens under the hood when you click on Create App in AES? Tell me the complete process.
Good question. Sure. When you click Create App in App Engine Studio, it automatically generates a new scoped app under the hood. That includes a namespace, so all your tables and logic stay isolated from the rest of the platform. As you define tables, AES adds a namespaced prefix. And it also ties in Flow Designer automation based on your selections. If you choose to add a workspace or UI experience, it sets that up too. All of this, forms, flows, tables, experiences, gets stored in the app's metadata record, so it can be tracked, governed, and even moved between environments later on. It basically creates a self-contained application shell, ready to be built out or extended further.